PrisonPlanet.tv. In-game. Full prep for global enslavement. You have been warned.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Yeah. Government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
You have found it, the solemn defense of humanity, the solemn defense of the unorganized world population discovering a wicked eugenics plan to poison and dumb down the entire population, to build a giant police state world government, to carry out the orderly extermination of 80 to 90% of us bare minimum. A lot of the globalists and transhumanists say 99%. Or total extermination of humanity. They are completely psychopathic. They control the issuance of currency and credit and world government. They are upon us. We'll be getting into the Federal Reserve with top experts on that the next hour and a half. And Steve Watson, detained by the secret police in England, will be joining us. I said I'd talk about my conversation with Governor Ventura this morning, and I'll do that briefly after the break as we introduce our guest. Very, very serious example of media disinformation and propaganda coming up after the next break. Some of the other news. Imagine a science fiction movie made 20, 30 years ago where you heard headlines like this. Toddlers who dislike spicy food are would to be branded racist, and police are to be called on them by preschools. The 366-page guide for staff in charge of preschool children, calling young children and racial justice, warns racist incidents among children in early years settings tend to be around name-calling, casual thoughtlessness comments, and peer group relationships. So teaching kids to be suppressed, repressed, you get in trouble if you say yuck to jalapenos. It advises nursery teachers to be on the alert for child abuse, such as, and it goes on to say that you don't like the food. The guide goes on to warn children might also react negatively to culinary traditions other than their own by saying yuck. And see, it's not that the child doesn't like curry because it burns Indian children's mouths in the subcontinent. No, they have to be taught about the differences in race. They have to be taught to dislike each other. They have to get in a database and be criminals and have policemen come to 2- and 3-year-olds. It says it. And see, parents have to have a license to hug their children, to change their diapers. You're going to be arrested. It's all pedophilia. This is the sick state, destroying the family, destroying everything, frying children. This is behavioral psychologists saying, how do we screw these children up as bad as we can cold-bloodedly? Remember, this is a government, the British government, that sprayed its country hundreds of times declassified from end to end with chemicals, biologicals, and radiologicals. Bubonic plague, sarin and VX nerve gas, murdering people in every major town and city quietly, spraying neighborhoods, having the military doctors at the local hospital cover up what happened, to test how to cover up and to test what the agents do, but to really create cadres of killers. And if you're listening for the first time, you do not roll your eyes at me. Oh, you're going to check out what I just said tonight when you get home. You're going to Google. Google entire of England tested in secret army test, something like that. Or plague bombs dropped on Scotland. Try that one. Or U.S. troops killed in chemical test. Try that. It's thousands of articles, all admitted how they're murdering you with pleasure. I had to stand by when they gassed people down at the DPS 8 years ago. And, of course, the DPS came out like I was the enemy out there, warning them that they'd had a test done on them. They're all going to the hospital, falling down, vomiting. And I'm saying, you've been tested on. You've been tested on. But they don't care. It's too important to believe the lies. It's too important to be conned and manipulated. You see, the Army had been in town that week. They'd done a fake nuclear spill on I-35 in Kyle. I had sources inside the Army and in the city. I went on air and said it was fake before it was announced it was fake. Then I said they're going to do biological tests and chemical tests downtown. And then they shut down downtown. A bunch of people got sick. Austin police collapsed. And then they hit the DPS with whatever it is. This is your stinking government. They're hurting you and your family. For heaven's sakes, at least check into what I'm telling you.
Even terrible gas prices don't come close to the disaster of food costs from shortages already destroying millions of American families. Wheat for flour is already 4 times more expensive than it was about a year ago. Food costs continue to double because there's no food worldwide. The only solution is to use now and store for later great flavored super bulk foods that cost half as much as your groceries cost last year. Get on the web at efoodsdirect.com and find a 2-month grab-and-go kit. This easy fix supply gives you 2 months worth of 3 great meals a day. The cost, about $5 a day. efoodsdirect.com also has a complete bulk supply of superfood at half the cost of last year's groceries. Call 800-409-5633. The rest of the world is starving, but what happens in your piece of America is up to you. Call 800-409-5633.
Have you ever suffered from giardia, food poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, arthritis, fatigue, or high cholesterol? Maybe you're one of the 75 million Americans that the Center for Disease Control reports as suffering from internal parasites. If so, Freshwater Organics is proud to introduce you to a million-year-old miracle that has been used all over the world by health-conscious individuals seeking alternatives to chemicals and drugs. FPP, or fossilized phytoplankton powder, is a 100% natural, organic product with absolutely no additives. When taken daily, it is an excellent source of natural plant-based silica with 14 trace minerals. Many believe it is the key to a healthy digestive tract. To find an FPP distributor near you, or to buy it now online, go to www.freshwaterorganics.com. You can also call toll-free at 888-949-3570. That's 888-949-3570.
May I have everybody's attention, please? I've come with a message of information. 9/11 was an inside job.
You like being a puppet, sir? Do you like being a puppet for the New World Order?
How do the American people know that 9/11 was a stage, was engineered by you, David Rockefeller, the Trilateral Commission, the CFR?
The day that we stop asking questions is the day that we have allowed the seeds of despotism to grow at our own door.
7 years after the attacks of September 11th, a global awakening has taken place.
An inside job? How dare you?
You know that there's treason going on. You can be held accountable for treason yourself.
All hell is breaking loose on 6th Avenue.
And if the government has not told the truth, in 5 years we will be here on the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
Truth Rising. Download the film at prisonplanet.tv right now, or get the DVD at Infowars.com. It's now time to take the revolution to the next level.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
We're going to be joined by Pat Carmack and Bill Still, the makers of the Money Masters, the preeminent film and the private banking cartel that owns and controls our society. Here in just a few minutes, I talked to Governor Jesse Ventura this morning, called him in his home, because I got up and got on the computer and been working for a few hours when it suddenly popped up on Drudge, the headline, Jesse Ventura to run for Senate, it's on. And so I called Governor Ventura because he had told us that he was going to announce one way or the other next Tuesday. And we, of course, were lining him up for next week. That was going to be a surprise. And then suddenly, we see this from ABC News. And so I called the governor, and his quote was to me that the report was a lie, a flat-out misrepresentation. Now, the issue here is this is the political blog put out by ABC News, and I clearly believe it is meant to preempt him getting any type of big media coverage, kind of a false start or a stealing of Governor Ventura's thunder, because having him in the U.S. Senate would be an asset. He believes